Greetings, my friends. Reform Stoic here. I plan on premiering this video at some point today, New Year's Eve, maybe like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. So y'all can have some piece of content to enjoy from me today. I'm going to stick to my word for my last stream. I will not be streaming today as I'm feeling a vibe. I'm feeling this intuitive vibe. It's raining really hard right now. Sometimes the rain really just connects with me. Makes me feel like God's talking to me. Makes me feel like maybe it's like kind of reassuring. Like, I'll have a feeling that God wants me to go in a direction, and then it will start pouring down rain, and then in my mind it kind of like validates what I'm thinking. It's really some kind of like bizarre spiritual sounding stuff, but I kind of flow with it, brothers. I flow with it. And I'll just go ahead and drone on in the beginning a little bit here. I'm thinking that's like not a bad idea. Thinking about having premieres in mind when I do my videos. So it's almost kind of like a live stream combined with a video. But I just wanted to give some thoughts on this year, how it's been, and where I'm at. I made a video a few months ago called Where I'm At in My Faith. We're going to go ahead and transition to the carpet over here. Try to get major cozy. I'm thinking about where I'm at moving forward, guys, and where I'm at in my faith. And it's just got me thinking about the stages that I've been at in life. Stage one was being young and naive. And for all intensive purposes, those are probably the best times of my life. I feel like those are the best times of a lot of people's lives. You look back when you get older, and there's a period where, especially for the black-pilled guys these days, you look back and you're like, oh man, I didn't have nearly enough sex. I didn't fornicate nearly enough times. But then maybe your faith becomes strong, and then you start to see that that's degenerate to think that way. And then maybe you can renew your young, naive childhood times and think, you know what, man? Just because I wasn't like fornicating like a dirty alley cat a bunch, you had good times, man. Drinking soda, playing video games, staying up late. So you have your innocent youth, and then you have the period where you start blowing it. The period of your life that you look back on as where everything started to go wrong. You have the period of your life where you start blowing it, and then stage three is like the period where you're in reflection, where you're like, man, I blew it. That's a stage one. Stage one, young and naive, probably the best times of your life. Stage two, you start blowing it. And then stage three, you're like, damn, I blew it. That's the stage that I've been in. I'm in the, man, I blew it stage. And, as it pours down rain, as we approach the new year, as I'm here in what really just feels like a powerful transitional time, I just made a video, once and for all, getting out all my thoughts on Southern Israelite. Just take it for what it is. I freestyled it. I didn't take any notes. It came from the heart. And I think it's a great place to start moving forward, because that's what I'm ready for, friends. I'm ready to leave behind the, man, I blew it phase. I'm ready to leave behind. Like, it's time for the next phase, which is whatever's next. Naive kid, probably best times of your life, blowing it. Man, I blew it. And now stage four, whatever's next. I'm ready for whatever's next, guys. And the kind of Christian that I'm becoming, the spiel I want to give about Christianity is, I think you need to start considering separating it from your intellectual thirst. Because where I'm at is, I think my intellectual thirst is connected to being anti-establishment, learning about how the West was stolen by the revolutionaries, in the mercantile class. That's kind of where my intellectual studies are focused. Now, obviously, theologians are extremely intelligent and well studied. When you're talking about people who read books and books and books and books, theologians, of course. And I do want to continue my studies in theology as well. But I feel like my view in Christianity is not something like beyond anybody's grasp, or something that like only 10 world-renowned geniuses who nobody's ever heard of in a Discord can understand. It's really simple, man, that, you know, Jesus was, I'm nervous to say benevolent. My gut feeling was to say Jesus was benevolent. Let's go ahead. Sometimes when people give speeches, the Webster Dictionary definition of benevolent is... Isn't this crazy, guys? It's like a live stream and a video at the same time because I'm blowing it. Well-meaning and kindly. Serving a charitable rather than a profit-making purpose. Jesus was benevolent, well-meaning and kindly. Serving a charitable rather than profit-making purpose. Now, make no mistake about it. He was king. And where there's like weird New Age Gnostic Christians who make it extremely heretical is where they try to say Jesus wasn't trying to say to worship him, or he was saying to like follow him and be like him. It's like no, Jesus is part of God, the Son of God, and he's a leader, no doubt. He's king. But he was gentle and peaceful. And the kind of understanding and peace that was within Christ is something that is most certainly well beyond human grasp. Like, people are absolutely wicked and depraved. I've been let down many times. I've let people down many times. I'm disgusted by my own actions. I'm disgusted by my mistakes. I'm disgusted by how I've been treated by other people. I'm disgusted how I've seen people treat other people. The kind of peace, something that marks Christ's holiness, was his peace. One of the aspects of Christ that is very beyond human capability was his kindness, generosity, and peace. And, you know, this video is not supposed to be all about Southern Israelite. That's over. That video is all over and said and done. But I think about Southern Israelites' worldview that he's indoctrinating people into, where it's like, I'm so smart because I treat people like garbage. It's like, well, Jesus said to be nice to people. It's like, yeah, but man, I'm so high IQ and I'm so well studied, and I just like read 500 books by myself, dude, and all these guys on my Discord are like top of the line intellectuals, and we realize that it's about treating people like garbage, man. You don't get it because you're not smart enough. And it's not complex. It's not a super intellectual thing. I'm all about being an intellectual. By all means, read all kinds of books. You know, if you want to read theology, study history, read Anthony C. Sutton, Carol Quigley. But when it comes to Jesus, the Gospels, his message, I really don't think it's rocket science. And I really am thinking back to my childhood lately. The influence of my Catholic intellectual family on my mom's side, my grandpapa, that's what I called him, grandpapa, grandmama. Yeah, he was a Catholic intellectual, and then his brother, my great uncle, he was a Catholic priest. And he's actually got some interviews in like high level Catholic magazines and stuff. And They were so peaceful, they were so gentle, they were so understanding, wise, they were very liked, they were very well received. They were friendly with Protestants. They were definitely not Protestant bashers by any means. My mom went to a Presbyterian youth group growing up. So, my mom was pretty like in and out of other stuff, even though her family was Catholic and they all went to mass. Every now and then she'd be in like a Presbyterian youth group or something. That's just kind of how it was. My mom told me stuff growing up. Like, I'm like, Mom, what's the difference between Christian and Catholic? It's like, well, it's like the first name of your religion is Catholic and then like the last name is Christian. I feel like my mom had some kind of like shopping cart Catholic beliefs. But it was definitely not in line with like her father, my grandpapa, and her uncle, my great uncle, the Catholic priest. They were brilliant men, and I wish I would have been able to talk to them now. It would have been great to be able to talk to them now. And interestingly enough, they both died right around like before 2014. Like the time when it started to be evident where things were headed, because from what I understand, they were in favor of a lot of Vatican II type of things. They watched, they would be in my grandpapa's study and they'd be watching like Colbert Report together. I remember they were watching Colbert Report when he was interviewing the Pope. And, but I liked the Colbert Report back then. And I liked the Daily Show back then. By the time that I started to realize that I hated the Daily Show and that I thought Jon Stewart was a complete hack and the way that he goes about his platform is just propaganda. By the time I realized that, both of them were dead. And it would have been very interesting to talk to them now. And for me to, I don't want to say confront them now, but to just see where they would have been at on these policies and to give my perspective. I have a lot of intellectuals in my family, and I just wasn't shit when they were alive. I was being an edgelord. My grandpa was having like Haircut Sunday, and I was talking about how I was into death metal, and I was trying to like make people feel weird. And that's back to that phase where it's like, man, I blew it. I'm still in that phase. I'm preparing to like leave that part of my life, but it's going to take some serious thinking, man, because I blew it hard. And I think some guys, that might be the last phase of your life. It's just, man, I blew it. And you just can't figure out how to get going. And so trying to hash out some of the wisdom that I feel like I've gathered going into this next phase of my life that I want to get to. I've seen through counterculture. I look at the DVDs on my shelf, and you guys always hear me saying, oh, Seth Rogen this, Seth Rogen that. Everybody's learning everything they believe from Seth Rogen and Dazed and Confused. I have Dazed and Confused on DVD. It's probably one of the movies I've seen the most times. I have Fast Times at Ridgemount High. It's probably one of the movies I've seen the most times. Seth Rogen movies are in the running for movies I've seen the most times. I've seen Knocked Up a bunch of times and Superbad. Pineapple Express, used to have it on a folder in my laptop. I'd watch it a shit ton of times when I'd come back from parties and stuff. I talk about how much negative influence that has, how that's all a part of the counterculture, and it's all trying to just teach you to be secular and party and drink and not give a shit and have all your motives fueled by casual sex. The point is that my entire life, all of my 20s, all of my teens, just everything was all accentuated by counterculture, Everything that's familiar to me, everything that's nostalgic. And I'm not discarding it. I still enjoy these movies. I still allow myself to enjoy these movies. I still allow myself to watch TV series, even if it, is degenerate. There's, to an extent, I have to actually like it, and I don't tend to like things that are degenerate. But, stoner humor, dudes laughing and goofing off, and I do tend to still, that is still definitely a part of my personality. And that kind of goes to the edgy parts of my stream, and my past. The clips of me being an edgelord and, like, singing the N-word song and stuff. And it's like, I'm genuinely over it. For the record, it's like, on one hand, you got the whole spiel. Every time you say the N-word, it's like a spit in the face of thousands of or hundreds of years of subjugation and slavery. I kind of think that's cheesy, but on the other hand, saying the N-word's cheesy too. It's a grift. Saying the N-word is like a, it's like a far right, edgy comedy grift. It's just cheap, man. Yeah, I'm growing out of it. I'm growing out of edginess. For the record, I don't ever think I was like that edgy. I had a couple of shining moments that people have tried to immortalize, but nah, man. I don't think being a Christian's about being edgy. I don't really think it's that funny to be edgy. I think there's way smarter humor. I think I'm better than that. I think every streamer on IP2 has had a couple of handful of moments where they just say the N-word a couple of times to try to like get some edgelord brownie points. And that's the kind of culture that that website encourages, So moving forward, I just want to be like nice and peaceful. And I think the red pill, the black pill, edginess, the alt-right, all of that stuff is not helpful. And I've pointed fingers and said there's feds everywhere. It seems to me like MGTOW was taken down originally. Let me try to kind of piece this together. It seems like MGTOW was kind of taken down and maybe infiltrated. And a part of taking stuff down is like, on one hand, you want the legitimate MGTOW guys gone, and then you want to get your boys in to subvert and replace it. I definitely think at a certain point, MGTOW was very harmful to the establishment. It was rapidly growing. It seems like it could have been organic, and it grew rapidly and triggered the establishment. Or it's the complete opposite, and it was a honeypot from the beginning. Now, how could I not know which one? It's like, really, dude? It's either or? Like, that's complete opposite. Like, either you're saying that MGTOW was based because it was triggering the establishment, or it was always an establishment attack to push men and women further apart. I mean, maybe now thinking about it, I'm leaning more towards it being an attack from the beginning to push men and women apart, but that's just kind of how this stuff works, guys. We're talking psyops, we're talking covert psyops. I mean, we're talking high level stuff here, guys. Culture creation and honeypots. These are intelligence operations designed to subvert, control, manipulate. I definitely am not following. MGTOW just really makes me scratch my head, dude. It's really kind of confusing what it's about. It's not, though. It's just like you're never gonna get married, I guess. That's what it originally was supposed to be about. But MGTOW, red pill, manosphere, far right, alt right. I'm just ready to just grow out of that, man. I'm not an SJW. I'm not into what the left is into these days, because for those who don't know, on the right, Republicans, you have people who are shilling for the establishment. You have Christians based who fight for Christian things, good based, but then they also shill for capitalism, and it's not natural. It's not natural for Christians to shill for capitalism. It's very confused. Yeah. So there's that. On the right, you have Christians based, shilling for capitalism, cucked. And then on the left, you have followers of the Frankfurt School, which had OSS plants, and it's basically a modern worldview that was created by the establishment to protect the establishment. When the right is calling the left communists, actually, the OSS, which is pre-CIA, made sure that the left wasn't communist. You look up Rockefeller and LGBT, Rockefeller feminism, Rockefeller climate change. Yeah, they fund all of it. The Rockefeller Foundation funds all of that crap. So, the point is that left, right, if you have a worldview, it's like, oh, we have to vote Republican to save the world. Trump is going to save the world. We need to make sure it's always Republicans in office. It's just delusional, man. Like, politics is a sham. Democracy is a sham. Right, left. It used to be the Girondins and the Jacobins. There was earlier two-party systems, and yeah, they're both liberal, and that's what we have now. Republicans are like classical liberals, and then the left are not liberals anymore. They're like some weird chimera or some like weird mutation of liberalism, but yeah, I feel like I'm droning on a little bit here, guys. I just want simplicity. I just want to be mature. I still want to be a funny guy. And I guess the point I was trying to get at is like, yeah, you look at my DVDs, and I've always liked edgy, goofy, stoner comedy. And I feel like, you know, the Adam Sandlers evolved into the Seth Rogens, which very likely for you, at the same time, you know, you're watching South Park and Family Guy. All that stuff's pretty edgy. South Park, Family Guy, Seth Rogen. But then the next level is like Sam Hyde, the Sam Hydes, and the World Peace, and then the 4chan Poll. And it's like this evolving, edgy humor that basically just ends up to just you being an asshole and people not liking you and you having like racist opinions. And I mean, that's really where it leads, dude. And it seems like it was a trap. It seems like it was just a way that culture tricks you into blowing it. It's meant to make you look like an asshole, guys. I definitely think that feds control the alt-right, and it's meant to make you have some big, bright polo and short pink shorts, you know, dressed like some gated community conservative guy with like the Viper shades and the polo, and it's just meant to make you piss everybody off, dude. It's meant to make nobody like you. People are forgetting how to be good people. Yeah, the left doesn't know how to be good people. The right doesn't know how to be good people. They're all like, you know, I'm going to trigger so many libtards and haha, BTFO, and just basically just becoming an arrogant, racist prick. And then the left is like pretty much also becoming an arrogant, racist prick. You just hate white people and you hate Christianity and you embrace everything like hyper modern, and it's all garbage, dude. And as far as like, yeah, but the left is worse. Yeah, but the left is worse. Bro, eventually you grow out of that. Yes, I do think that, because let's just say certain people in my family are now leaning more toward the Trump side. And it's like, okay, well, I think that's an improvement. I think on some level you do need to give the nod that being a conservative in the mainstream sense, being a Republican, being a young Republican, like a Zoomer Republican, it's a step in the right direction. It's displaying like an ability to think freely, because yeah, the system is like trying to guilt everybody into being a raging leftist. So yeah, you get a couple of brownie points for being headed in a more conservative direction, but overall, guys, you got to get to a point where it's just like, if it's wrong, it's just wrong. It doesn't matter if it's less wrong than the left. It's just wrong. And you got to stop letting it discredit you. You got to stop letting it make you look bad. You're looking bad for the alt-right, which is just, it's not about anything, man. It's not a worthwhile movement. You're sacrificing your reputation and your credibility for something that doesn't really care about you, that wasn't really made by your people, that's not really for you. It's an attack. You probably spent years, like me, talking about how George Soros funds Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and it's a joke. Well, your movement is also funded by philanthropists, and it's also a joke, and you're very naive about it. The metaphorical you, or the hypothetical you, I'm not like specifically calling out any individual person, but It's just time to move on, guys. It's time to move on to what's next. And like everything that I've been a part of on the internet, the black pill, the red pill, MGTOW, meme theologians, like I'm just ready to just move on from all of it. What's my super based and obscure red pilled internet trad advice for being a Christian, dude? What's the real scoop to be a real Christian? Go to church. Oh, but you mean like a super like based church that like nobody knows about? Like, nope. Just go to a regular ass church. Or you can like fit in with regular people who have regular lives and regular jobs, and they're not like rotting away in fringe parts of the internet where they talk about how they're so much more based than everybody else. It's like, dude, anybody who can go outside today is like a based cuck. And I know people are saying that I'm a hypocrite because I never go outside, right? I never leave my house. Well, you guys, you're gonna have to start accepting that I've made some sacrifices for this channel. Like, you guys haven't, you're not getting fucking gang stalked and having your reputation smeared like I am. So I'm struggling a little bit. I'm back in my hometown. I caused all kinds of fucking waves and problems here. But I am thinking about going to Mass here in Kodiak. There's only one Catholic church here. It ain't that hard to figure out. It's the one that I went to as a child. And I would very much like to go check it out again. I think that'd be really cool, man. I'm really loving Catholic aesthetics lately. I just recently watched the movie Don Bosco. I believe the saint's name was actually John Bosco. Great movie about a Catholic priest helping out these kids and the industrialized, I think he was in Italy. He was dealing with revolutionaries who were trying to kill him. That was great. Romero, about Oscar Romero. I thought that was a great story. Now that's an interesting thing to look into because, yeah, that was about CIA created right-wing death squads that were attacking this kind of like Marxist Christian movement of liberation theology. And originally Oscar Romero was standing against it. He said that it was not good theology. It was just Marxist subverted theology. But he saw what was happening to these guerrillas, these liberation theology guerrillas. He saw what the right-wing death squads were doing. They were kidnapping them and torturing them, murdering women and children. And then he joined them. And I gotta tell you, man, as somebody who people are starting to see as radical and anti-establishment, it's like, yeah, man, that's a situation where I don't think the right-wing death squads were very based, you guys. Based right-wing death squads, ha ha ha, eat a boot. No, man, they're killing women and children, and it was created and funded by the CIA, and it was establishment. And man, it's kind of just like, if you're all about like right-wing death squads, you're about like murdering innocent women and children who are poor. You got to keep that in mind. Some people who are embracing Marxism, they're just fucking poor and they got nothing, and their greedy capitalist establishment has like milked them dry and given them no opportunity. I mean, a lot of times they're just bled dry and they got nothing left, man. They're bled dry and they got nothing left. And no, it's not because they're lazy bums and they need to get a job. It's because it's a shithole, corrupt, capitalist government. And what happens when the people try to like fight so they can keep eating and feeding their kids? The CIA funds right-wing death squads to fucking torture them and kill them, man. It's not very based, guys. So that might give you some perspective if you look into that movement a little bit. I'm kind of about fighters, man. I'm kind of about people who fight the establishment. I'm not saying I'm a Marxist. I'm definitely not saying I'm a communist or into liberation theology, but I'm starting to be a little bit open-minded as far as like the kind of people who I consider my my comrades, and it's definitely going to be Christians, guys. It's got to be Christians. I'm not telling you what church to join here. I'm just saying you should join a church where there are people there who are a part of society, because I guarantee you that there are good churches with acceptable theology and a good service where there are regular people with families and jobs and lives. That's something that could help you get back on your feet. But if you're like me, where it's like, I might not even get back on my feet. I don't even know if I have a future. I kind of might just be living a quiet life of study and working on my channel and, sharpening my sword on the drums and working out and these things I do. And for me, I just love to just go to mass, keep to myself, take part in the sacraments, go to confession, and live a quiet, holy life, man. And I don't know, sometimes I think about options I might want to take moving forward, and the thought of like starting over in any way in school or education just sounds exhausting. But I'm intrigued by the idea of like going to a seminary. It's crossed my mind a couple of times. I really want to be a good person, you guys. And I remember how I was when I was a kid. I was just full of laughter and smiles. I was very hyper, and I liked to joke. I liked to try to make people laugh. And I was just so damn innocent, you guys. I was just so damn innocent, and my problem ended up being that I was the nice guy. But I wasn't shy and timid. I had friends, and I was around people. I was small, and it definitely started to become a thing, struggling with women. And it's just crazy how, to make up for that, I lost all of my good traits. It's like, hey man, you're kind of blowing it with women, but you're positive, you're happy, people like to be around you. Maybe you just hold on to that, and then calmly like work out and like develop some skills and try to position yourself to be better in life. I already made the video about this in one of my recent diaries, how if you're nice, stay nice, because high school is temporary, man. And let's give this hypothetical. You're shy and awkward and you're blowing it with women in high school, but you stay nice and you pick a good career lane and you stay focused and you put your head down and you do what you need to do, and you don't let your character be corrupted. You're going to be in line to like maybe meet the girl you need to meet when you're 21 or 22, man. You were shy and awkward, 16, 17. Work out, pick a good path, be a respectable man. You might start meeting the kind of girls you're supposed to meet when you're 21, 22. When I was 21 and 22, I was trying to like be the loudest prick at the party. I was trying to figure out like, man, this guy fucking like embarrassed me in front of everybody. Maybe if I start embarrassing guys in front of everybody, maybe I need to like pick fights. Maybe I need to like be loud and drunk and like pick fights, and because that's what impresses women. That's what women like. When that guy like was drunk and on heroin and embarrassed me, maybe I need to be drunk and on heroin and embarrass people. I had my own head shoved up my ass by society and culture, and I didn't have a fucking clue, man. And if you ask me, like, if I would have had my head on straight and I would have lived better, I would have had a way better shot of getting where I needed to get in life, Cashing in some of these skills that I spent so much time developing just so I could rot away alone. I'm a good person, bro. There's a lot of people out there trying to say that, like, I'm some horrible, dangerous person. It's ridiculous. I've never hurt anybody. I've never broken the law. So I'm going to start cleaning it up. I'm going to think about going to mass. And for me, it's going to be a quiet life as far as I can tell. It's at least going to be a year before I get out of my hometown. And I just think you should try to take a step back and look at where the direction you're headed in, because there's been times in my life where on one hand I told everyone I was an intellectual and I was thinking so critically and I was studying so hard and I was so lost and I was digging myself deeper and deeper into brainwashing and I didn't even realize it. And I've been there so many different times, and people are going to say, well, how do you know you're not still there? How do you know you're not just starting a new era of brainwashing? Because I've seen patterns in it. I've seen these patterns in it, guys, and it really is you know, when you enter the room full of people who know the truth, it's not a Discord with 6 people paying one guy. All right, there's like a sizable amount of intelligent people. All right, there's intelligent theologians in all of the main denominations. So if you think 5 people in a Discord know reality, you're it. Just you in this small room of people, you're the only ones. And what you'll see when they create honeypots, a lot of them have the anti-establishment stuff. You know, you can just be like, we're going to be like flat earther Mormons, or we're going to be flat earther Puritans, or Jehovah's Witnesses, or you. It's all about weaponizing ideologies, guys. That's what Jay Dyer said he mastered in, how the CIA weaponizes all ideologies. You can create a worldview. You can get some intelligent CIA guys and sit around and think, okay, how are we going to create this like radical worldview? We'll put some of the anti-establishment truth in there. You know, we'll put together a reading list where it's like Anthony C. Sutton and Carol Quigley, and we'll wake people up on the establishment. But then we'll make it all about being Baptist. Like this particular brand of Baptist church, they had the entire truth. Throw in like denying the Trinity, and you can kind of just, you can create a worldview. I mean, that's what Freemasonry, that's a lot of what Freemasonry is about, is they teach you how to create religions. And the Freemasons created all these different offshoots within Protestantism. So take a step back. Think about it, man. Are you in an echo chamber? I've been in so many echo chambers, and believe it or not, I think I'm ready to exit every single one of them. I think I'm ready to leave behind every single echo chamber. I'm not racist at all, okay? When it comes to misogyny, when it comes to like problems with women, yeah, you can probably start making some arguments that I got some issues with women, okay? I got some shit that I need to work on, but I'm not even like a little bit racist. I'm not racist at all, bro. We're all in this struggle together, man. We're all being lied to. I want to see everybody sitting around the table on Thanksgiving and Christmas with their family, and you're all praying and you're all saying prayers. Man, I'll tell you what, when it comes to the worship music, black people win, dude. I love the black worship music so much more. The praise breaks, and it's just uplifting and positive. The white contemporary worship music is like really emo. And you know me, I like emo and pop punk, but yeah, contemporary worship music it just sounds like emotional alternative songs for Jesus. And yeah, the black people gospel music is people clapping and stomping their feet and praise him, I will praise the Lord. I don't know what the hell that was, but anyway, guys, I think that's about it. In conclusion, I want to stop reflecting on how much of a fucking train wreck my life is and move on to whatever's next. And I think it's going to be very simple, you guys. I'm trying to figure out where God is pushing me, and it just feels very simple, you know? I'm a man with his cats and his books and the things that I do to keep me positive. My routine is so important to me, guys. Today, I did not work out. I did not play drums. I ate fucking fried chicken gizzards and did a random obligation in the time when I usually do that. I threw off my whole routine. Somebody annoyed me with a text on top of that. All of these events like came together and made today extremely annoying. My routine is very important. I gotta work out every day, play drums every day, read every day. I gotta do these things every day. My New Year's resolution, one of them is to read in the morning instead of doing the morning streams, guys. So the coffee streams, in theory, will be gone in the new year because I gotta read in the morning. I'm definitely gonna try to force myself to do that. It's all just simple stuff, guys. You know, probably gonna try to be talking less. I'm gonna try to be more chill. You know, maybe try to figure out how to like. I feel like my voice is lower than it comes off on stream. I feel like my voice could be lower. There's something like wrong with the way I talk. I talk too fucking fast and high pitched, and I don't know. I think maybe if I just chilled out for a really long time, I could just not talk so fast and high pitch. Something next has to come. The next stage has to come. So I'm gonna force it to come, even if it's just sitting around in my apartment doing what I'm already doing. It's literally doing what I'm already doing, but just not reflecting on how much of a wreck my life is anymore. I just need to stop. I need to force transition to the next phase. It's time for something else. And I'm going to go to mass at some point. You guys do what you want to do. If you're like, Stoic, I can't do it. I'm such an introvert. I hate the world. I hate people. Because that might be where I'm at. And I don't want it to be about hating people, but I feel like a shut-in right now. I feel like I do not want to be social at all. So I understand that feeling. If that's how you feel, just try to be positive, man. Don't talk crap. Don't gossip. Try not to be negative. Try not to like swear a bunch, and try to be a good person, man. I think you know what that means. I think a lot of people knew what it meant to be a good person a long time ago, and they don't want to know. They don't want to know so bad that they push it out of their mind, and they drown it in cope, and they drown it in lies and manipulation. And you know what it means to be a good person, guys? Do it. Be good to people. Stop being such an edgelord. Racism, unnecessary. We're all in this struggle together. Sexism, humans are broken. People are broken. You are focusing on women's brokenness. For every girl who, you know, has issues, let's keep it clean and tidy for the YouTube. For every girl who has issues, there's a guy who also has issues. And it's not a fucking competition. We don't need to make it about science. Actually, for every 50 men who are this, there's 500 women who are that. Yes, modern women got problems. It's going to degrade you. It's like Harvey Dent in the Joker, or not the Joker, in The Dark Knight. How Harvey was brought to his demise by just his rage. It's like the red-pilled rage is making you kind of a bad person, bro. There are still women out there who aren't so bad. But the argument is that there are broken people. There's just broken people all over the place. This society is tainted and it's ruining people, and it's not going to help you, man. So, you know, to have some channel where you just focus on, you pull up all the TikToks where women are doing this or that. I heard a lot of those are fake. There's a lot of hate fuel TikToks. They just take like TikToks where a girl was dancing and then they put fake captions on it to make them saying something ridiculous like, I can't wait to get divorced, or I'm guarantee you I'm gonna marry some simp and then divorce him and take all his money. It's hate fuel. It's rage fuel. And a lot of these channels on YouTube are hate fuel and rage fuel. And they got the same thing for feminists, you know? Feminists can watch their rage fuel. Oh, wow, some guy in a beach, like, beat a couple. Wow, men are so violent. Oh, wow, some guy, you know, like, blew up a car. Wow, men are so violent. I mean, yeah, you can watch the news Dude, if you don't like black people, you can watch news. You can take all the snippets of black people doing something wrong. If you don't like white men, you can take all the news snippets of white men doing something wrong. You think some white men killed somebody in the last month? Yeah. You think some black people killed somebody in the last month? Yeah. You think some women killed somebody in the last month? Yeah. You can literally just like look for stories where women did something bad and then make a channel where you show all of them. I mean, that's just how the news works, guys. That's just how it works. You can make anything look bad. Oh, you're a Catholic? What about all of the molestation in the Catholic Church? Well, yeah, the Catholic Church has done bad things, and there's bad things that have happened in Protestant churches, and people have been molested by police and bus drivers and post office people and teachers, and people have probably been molested by somebody in every single profession and race and gender and everything. You could bash anything, bro. You could make a channel bashing anything. That's what it really comes down to. And when you start to realize that, wow, I could just make it, I could point out the negativity in anything. It gets to a point where it's like, maybe you shouldn't focus on the negative. Maybe you should try to focus on the peace. Maybe you should try to find peace. I want to find peace. I do want to watch TV shows and waste time, but I want those TV shows to be peaceful. I'm looking for peace. I'm looking for more positive people and positive shows and positive influences, and like, let's just be the good guys, bro. Let's be the good guys. And as far as this whole like nice guys finish last and women only like assholes, and this is where we were all supposed to be a part of the church, bro, because this secular culture is it's just leading everybody to their destruction. It's a conveyor belt that leads you to destruction. I filled my life up with all of the freaking brainwashing, all of the counterculture. I was into death metal and Comedy Central, South Park, Family Guy, Seth Rogen, everything degenerate counterculture. I was into all of it, bro. And I was into the parties and trying to get laid and trying to be cool and one-up everybody. It's a conveyor belt that leads you to destruction, to loneliness. A lot of the people that I hung out with and partied with growing up are dead from drugs. People are in and out of jail, illegitimate kids, divorced. And I'm right there with them, dude. When I talk shit about my hometown, I'm right there with them. I'm a massive fuck up too. In a way different way, but we were all in it together, man. We were all a part of something destructive. We all filled our lives up with aimless degeneracy, programming from a culture that doesn't care about you, and it's sinister, and it's a lie, and it's only for money. I mean, in the most innocent timeline, it was only for money. Okay, at best, capitalism is like this. These shows are just capitalism, and they're just trying to throw together something that makes money. At worst, it's a subversive plot to undo your faith and your culture and everything good. I tend to think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. There's definitely subversion to be had. Anyway, guys, you will be seeing this video, if you watch it when it premieres, before New Year's. Have a great New Year's, guys. I will see you for the podcast on Monday. Podcast Monday and Friday still on. Listen to that rain. I don't know if you guys probably can't hear it, but yeah, it's pouring. It's pouring, boys. I feel the winds of change are blowing. Let's make it positive. God bless.